Welcome back to another episode of the Cover 2 podcast. As always, I'm your host, Lawson Turner, and we officially we're down to four. We're down to four teams left in the NBA playoffs. That is the Boston Celtics and the Indiana Pacers out east, and out west, we got the Dallas Mavericks and Minnesota Timberwolves. But for this video, we're going to be going over the Eastern Conference, as that game is later tonight on ESPN, and we will be going over the Western Conference Finals in tomorrow's video. Now, I'm just going to get my prediction out the way early, and it shouldn't be a surprise. I think Boston will probably win in 5, if not 6. I would be shocked if this gets to a 7 game, or if Boston has to face elimination at any point in this series. The Boston Celtics have been the most, not the most record-wise, they've been the most dominant team all year long. Now, they have farmed a little bit on the bad Eastern Conference. The top of the East is good. The middle of the pack it could be okay to slightly above average, but the bottom is piss poor. It's not like it's Detroit, it's Toronto, it's Atlanta, and Atlanta was a middle of the table team, but they can only do so much. I think Boston wins in, like I mentioned, in 5. Could I see Indiana getting a game or two? Absolutely. This Indiana team, they were the number one offense all year long. I think Boston not having Porzingis, at least for the first 2 games, he is 100% ruled out for tonight's game 1. In game 2, I expect him to miss as well, but you get the first 2 games at home, Boston, and they should be the double-digit point favorite that they are. I think the spread is Boston minus 10 tonight, which that is about 10 to 12 is where I would have it. But let's dive into the team comparisons. Boston 108 points per game this postseason. That is 6 just outside of the top 5. While Indiana's the first at 114.2. Opponent points per game. This was the key when I was doing research on. Okay, well, we can watch the games, but how do the numbers look? Boston's been the second best defense the entire postseason, giving up just 96.7. Even if you want to round up to 97 points per game, that's fantastic. While Indiana, they are the 13th best defense when it comes to opponents' points per game at 110.8. 111, so that's a 14-15 point swing when it comes to how much your opponent scores and how much you need to score. I do think that Indiana's pace could give Boston a little bit of trouble. Excuse me. I think that when it comes down to it, Boston they don't have much of a bench, especially with Porzingis being out and Al Horford having to start. That kind of eliminates their big off the bench. Now, Luke Cornett has been good in the backup center minutes that he's been thrown into due to Porzingis' injury, but it was against Cleveland. So let's not get it twisted as to like it was against a juggernaut out west. No, it was against the Cavs, in which they won in 5. Was it 5 or 6? I want to say it was 5. It double checking. It wasn't 5. Now, the biggest thing for me when it comes down to, but besides the Porzingis injury and a lot of other things like that, Boston won the season series 3-2. The average score was 129 to 117. So these games in theory should be high scoring, but if anyone can slow down this Indy team that's at full strength, and the Celtics aren't even in full strength, but Jason Tatum, good defender. Jaylen Brown, good defender. Drew Holiday, good defender. Derek White, outstanding defender. Al Horford can switch 1 through 5. Now, if it's going to be interesting to see what Indiana does on offense, especially in the half court, because we know in transition they're going to go, they're going to sprint, they're going to try and put as much pressure, getting out on the break on the Celtics as they've done to most teams that they've played all season long. Another big factor to me, can Tyrese Halliburton continue to be aggressive early and often? If him and Pascal can set tones, how do you start games? How do you finish quarters? If they can, carry they don't even have to carry the bulk of the load because they have good role players. This team is just crazy young. Like Tyrese, this was the first year that he's ever won a postseason series. Pascal has championship, he has championship experience, but it's a different, and I was gonna say it's a different beast, but he was going against the the Warriors, and so he has a sense and a knowing of, okay, guys, this is how it's gonna be. Miles Turner, furthest he's ever been. Then you have guys like T.J. McConnell who had a little bit of postseason success elsewhere. Elsewhere being when he was with the Sixers, but they never got this far. So I wonder in a hostile environment that Boston is, I can't wait to see how their role players play. Because you look, you have, can Miles Turner continue to dominate? Can Andrew Nimhart continue to dominate? Can T.J. McConnell still be the spark off the bench? Because it's great to see these players play fantastic at home. Can you do it on the road again? And I know New York and Boston are kind of, 1-to-1 when it comes to like hostile environments, but that's going to be the thing for me. Can the Pacers role players continue to play as well as they did in Game 7? Can they keep the momentum going? And maybe can they steal Game 1? Because Boston hasn't been tested. They played the Heat with no Jimmy, no Rozier. And then they played the Cavs with no Jared Allen, and Donovan Mitchell missed a game. And it was a 5-game series, and it was another 5-game series. So, can Boston set the tone early that, yeah, this is our year, and we're going to go back to the NBA Finals? Well, that's all I have for you guys for this episode of the Cover 2 podcast. Be sure to check us out on Twitter at the Cover 2 Pod 26. Link will also be in the description to make it a little bit easier to find. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, for the Cover 2 podcast, I'm Lawson Turner, and I will talk to you guys later. Peace.